I never thought I'd be posting here, but after everything that's happened, I really need to get this off my chest. I 27M, grew up seriously poor. Not like, can't afford the newest iPhone, poor, I mean actually poor. The kind where you're eating toast for dinner and pretending it's a normal meal. My mom worked 2 jobs and dad fixed cars in our backyard for cash, always promising certifications and a real garage next month. Me and my brother Jake, 29M, shared a mattress on the floor until I was 15. Jake hated sharing space and drew lines with permanent marker down the middle, saying I better not cross it. I started working at 14, studied hard despite our terrible school district, and eventually got into community college while working warehouse night shifts. The library became my second home where I taught myself coding. When I got my first IT certification, that's when family dynamics changed. Everyone mocked my career choice. Look who thinks he's too good for us now. Jake especially hated it, claiming I was trying to be something I wasn't. My first tech job paid more than my parents ever made combined. I immediately got mom to a dentist for a tooth she'd suffered with for years and started helping with bills. That's when Jake and his wife Lisa, 28F, suddenly needed help with everything: car repairs, children's clothes, appliances. Every week brought a new emergency. The big one came when they wanted to buy a house but couldn't get approved with their bad credit. They asked me to co-sign. I should have said no, but I wanted to help family. I even contributed to the down payment since they had no savings. Their gratitude quickly turned to resentment. Family dinners became occasions to ask for money while simultaneously putting me down. "Remember when you used to wear my hand-me-downs?" Jake would say after asking for cash. "Must be nice having all that money while we struggle," Lisa would comment, wearing brand new clothes they couldn't afford. 2 years ago, I met Rachel, 26F, at a tech conference. She grew up similar to me, working-class family, community college, worked her way up. First time I met someone who truly understood my background. When we started dating, my family had immediate opinions. Lisa told everyone I was dating some rich girl who thinks she's better than us, before even meeting Rachel. When I finally brought Rachel to meet them, it was awful. Lisa wouldn't look at her, Jake made snide comments about city people, and my parents were obviously uncomfortable. It got much worse when Lisa noticed Rachel's engagement ring. She exploded, calling Rachel a gold digger in the middle of dinner. We left early, with Rachel crying not about the insults, but because she felt guilty about causing problems in my family. Things deteriorated further. Lisa posted vague attacks about fake people on Facebook. Jake told everyone I thought I was too good for family. The irony? I was still helping them with loans, bills, and computer problems. But because I had Rachel and wasn't focusing 100% on them, I was suddenly a terrible person. Then Dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. He lived 7 months, and during that time, Jake and Lisa were strangely focused on his possessions rather than his care. They'd organize his tools while he was suffering from chemo, or help with paperwork while asking about savings and life insurance. I paid thousands for medical expenses not covered by insurance. Lisa started a GoFundMe that raised about $83,000, which they later used to renovate their kitchen, claiming Dad would want us comfortable. After Dad passed, Mom insisted we all come for Christmas. The moment we arrived, the atmosphere was strange. Everyone exchanged looks when we walked in. The only one happy to see us was my nephew Tommy, eager to show me his coding project, until Jake pulled him away saying, "Don't bother your uncle with that computer stuff." After an awkward silence, Jake announced they needed to discuss family business. When Rachel offered to give us privacy, Lisa insisted with fake sweetness that she stay since she was so interested in our family's money. Jake explained that while Dad was sick, they had used power of attorney to transfer everything to his name: the house, garage, savings, and even my inheritance. Mom admitted knowing about it, saying, "They need it more than you. You have your job." I reminded them of all the financial help I'd provided over the years. Lisa laughed, saying my spare change didn't make me a hero and that they all deserved that money as a real family. They attacked Rachel, claiming she was after my money and had convinced me to abandon them. When we left, Mom warned, "If you leave now, don't bother coming back." At home, I discovered they'd not only stolen my inheritance but had opened credit cards and taken loans in my name. The house I'd co-signed for had $130,000 in loans against a property worth maybe $95,000. They'd been using my inheritance to make minimum payments while taking on more debt. I reported the identity theft to my bank and documented everything, every forged signature, every fake application. Rachel's dad, a retired accountant, helped me build a case. Instead of confronting them immediately, I let them think they'd won while I prepared. The final straw was when they took out one last payday loan in my name, which triggered extra fraud alerts. When my lawyer presented everything to the court, their scheme collapsed instantly. Their accounts were frozen, loans called in, and the house foreclosure process began. Jake and Lisa panicked. My phone exploded with messages. Mom started posting old family photos with captions about how money changes people. Lisa showed up at Rachel's workplace screaming until security removed her. They even broke into our house using a key Mom had given them, destroying our things and dumping Rachel's work laptop in the bathtub. That's when I called the police and got restraining orders. In court, the judge ruled they had to repay everything. Jake lost it, screaming that I thought I was better than him. I finally responded, "I am better than you, not because of money or job, but because I didn't steal from my own brother." 3 months later, life is different. Rachel and I moved across town with new contact information and security cameras. I bought Jake and Lisa's house at the foreclosure sale, not because I wanted it, but to prevent Lisa's parents from buying it so they could keep living there. The only sad part is my nieces and nephews won't talk to me anymore. Jake and Lisa told them I'm the reason they lost everything. Mom still tries playing both sides, calling me in tears about the broken family, while posting on Facebook about praying for Jake and Lisa's recovery from financial hardship. Rachel's family has become our real family. Her parents have us over every Sunday. Her dad helped with the security system, and her mom teaches me family recipes. We're planning a small wedding next spring, just her family and close friends. The money's mostly gone even with court-ordered repayments, but I don't care about that anymore. What bothers me is how easily they threw away our relationship out of greed. The irony? If they'd just asked for help instead of stealing, I probably would have helped them. Jake sent a letter last week saying, "You came from nothing and that's what you'll always be." It made me laugh. Yes, I came from nothing, worked my way up from nothing, and when they tried to take everything, I rebuilt from nothing again. That's the difference between us. I know how to build, they only know how to take. Update 1, it's been 2 months since my last post. I've received many messages asking for updates, so here's where things stand now. First, some good news. I found out through LinkedIn that Tommy, my nephew, won his school's coding competition. His teacher follows me and sent a message congratulating Tommy's uncle on inspiring him. Apparently, Tommy told everyone he got interested in coding because of me. When I saw that message, I broke down crying in my office. I didn't respond directly to the teacher, didn't want to cause problems for Tommy, but I anonymously paid for him to attend a summer coding camp. The camp director will tell him he got a scholarship. Jake and Lisa would never allow him to accept anything if they knew it came from me, but the kid has serious talent. The legal fallout continues. Jake and Lisa are still dealing with the consequences of their fraud. They've had to sell most of their possessions to make minimum payments on the credit cards. They've moved into a small apartment owned by Lisa's parents. The court ordered them to pay me $325 monthly for the next 15 years, but I've only received one payment so far. My lawyer suggested wage garnishment, but honestly, I'm tired of fighting. Lisa's brother reached out to me. We met for coffee, and he apologized for his sister's behavior. He told me Lisa has been telling everyone a completely different story, claiming I stole her inheritance and that I committed fraud. According to him, even family members who initially believed her are starting to see through the lies because her story keeps changing. He showed me screenshots where Lisa makes increasingly outlandish claims. Now apparently I'm part of some tech industry conspiracy and used computer hacking to frame them. Mom has been trying to reunite the family. She calls weekly suggesting I should be the bigger person and forgive Jake and Lisa. When I remind her they stole over $90,000 from me, she says, but that's just money. Family is forever. She even suggested I drop the restraining order for Easter dinner. That's a hard no. The restraining order has been necessary. 2 weeks after my last post, Jake showed up at my workplace again. He waited in the parking lot until security escorted him off. My boss offered to let me work remotely, but I refused to let them drive me into hiding. The house I bought at foreclosure, their former home, is now renovated and rented to a young family with 2 children. They're lovely people who've even started a vegetable garden in the backyard. It feels good knowing something positive came from this mess. Rachel and I started therapy to deal with the stress. Our therapist specializes in family estrangement and has helped us understand this wasn't our fault. We've set a wedding date for October, small ceremony, just her family and close friends. No drama, no guilt trips. Rachel's parents have become my family. Her dad and I go fishing regularly, and her mom teaches me family recipes. Last Sunday, she showed me Rachel's childhood photos, then said, "You're in our family photos from now on." Such a simple statement, but it meant everything. The situation with my nieces and nephews is painful. Jake and Lisa told them I'm the reason they lost their house and changed schools. My older niece found me on Instagram and sent a message calling me terrible names. I didn't respond, their children being fed lies. I've set up college funds they can access at 18. Maybe by then, they'll understand what happened. Work was difficult for a while. I missed deadlines and struggled to concentrate. My team lead covered for me during the worst times. I've been working extra hours to make up for it, and last week, I was offered a promotion to senior developer. The salary increase will help rebuild our savings. Our new house finally feels like home. We installed a security system with cameras that I check regularly. Rachel planted flowers in the front yard, she says putting roots in the ground helps us feel more permanent. We've designated the second bedroom as a home office, though both of us know it might become a nursery someday. Some asked about legal consequences for my mother. My lawyer says she could face charges as an accessory, but I've decided not to pursue that. Despite everything, I can't bring myself to see her in legal trouble. She's a victim of Jake's manipulation too, in a way. My relationship with Rachel has grown stronger through all this. Last night she said, "They tried to destroy us, but instead, they showed us exactly how strong we are together." She's right. I still get angry sometimes. I'll be driving to work or making dinner and suddenly remember some detail, like how they used Dad's GoFundMe money to remodel their kitchen. The anger comes in waves, but each time, it's less overwhelming. One thing I've learned, real family isn't always the one you're born into. Sometimes it's the people who stand by you when things fall apart. Rachel and her parents, my team at work, even some of you on Reddit who sent supportive messages, that's family too. I don't know if I'll ever speak to Jake or Lisa again. I hope Tommy and my other nieces and nephews will reach out when they're older. But I'm not waiting for reconciliation anymore. I'm building a new life, one day at a time. For those who suggested therapy, you were right. It's helping more than expected. For those who said I shouldn't forgive and forget because they're family, I respectfully disagree. Forgiveness might be possible someday, but only with genuine remorse and changed behavior. Thank you all for the support during the darkest time of my life. It meant more than you know. Update 2, it's been almost 3 months since my last update. Things are gradually settling into a new normal, and I wanted to share some developments. The house that used to belong to Jake and Lisa is in much better hands now. The young family renting it has been amazing, a couple in their early 30s with a 4-year-old and a newborn. The husband is an electrician who's making impressive improvements. He rewired the outdated kitchen, something Jake always promised but never did, fixed the bathroom plumbing, and repainted the exterior. When I stopped by with a new garage door opener, I barely recognized the place. The once overgrown yard has been transformed into a beautifully landscaped space with flowers and a vegetable garden. The wife loves organic gardening and plans to add fruit trees next spring. It's strange seeing the house looking better than it ever did under my brother's ownership. They've asked about a rent-to-own arrangement, as they've fallen in love with the place. There's something poetic about a hard-working family building their future in a house with such a complicated history. I've asked my attorney to explore options. On the legal front, Jake finally found work at a warehouse, so wage garnishment has begun, about $275 per paycheck. Lisa still isn't working, claiming she needs to be home with the kids due to the trauma of changing schools. According to mutual acquaintances, she tells everyone her children are suffering from PTSD because of me. I received a surprising letter from Tommy's school counselor. Tommy has apparently been struggling emotionally and mentioned during a session that he misses me and feels caught in the middle. The counselor reached out, with Jake's reluctant permission, asking if I'd attend one of Tommy's coding club exhibitions next month. I'm torn about this. I'd love to support Tommy, but worry about Jake or Lisa causing a scene. After discussing it with Rachel and my therapist, I've decided to go, bringing Rachel as a buffer and having an exit strategy ready. The restraining order only prevents them from approaching me, not vice versa, but I'll keep my distance if they attend. The coding camp I anonymously funded had a major impact on Tommy. According to the counselor, he won second place in a regional competition with an app to help kids track homework. Whatever happens between me and his parents, I want to be there for him if possible. Mom has taken a surprising turn. After months of trying to force reconciliation, she's suddenly gone quiet. I discovered through Rachel's cousin, who works at Mom's doctor's office, that Mom's been diagnosed with depression and started medication. When I called her, she didn't mention fixing the family for the first time. Instead, she asked about my work and wedding plans, the most normal conversation we've had in years. I sent her flowers with a note saying I love her regardless of everything. She texted back a photo of the flowers with just a heart emoji. It's a tiny step toward a new relationship based in reality rather than her fantasy of a perfect family. Our wedding plans are progressing nicely. We've booked a lakeside venue for October with about 40 guests. My side will be sparse, just a few cousins and colleagues turned friends. Mom asked if she could attend, and we agreed she can come alone with no mention of Jake or Lisa. Rachel continues to be my rock. For her birthday, I surprised her with a mountain getaway, the first 48 hours in over a year without discussing family drama or legal issues. On our last morning there, while having coffee on the cabin porch, she mentioned wanting to try for a baby after the wedding. Despite everything, life is moving forward in beautiful ways. Work has been a positive distraction. My promotion came with more responsibilities, but I'm enjoying designing a new security protocol that might be implemented company-wide. The irony isn't lost on me. After having my own security violated by family, I'm helping protect others. I've started mentoring a junior developer from a difficult background who reminds me of myself. Helping him navigate workplace challenges has been unexpectedly rewarding. Financial recovery is progressing slowly but steadily. The identity theft case closed with all fraudulent accounts removed from my credit report. Insurance covered some of the break-in damage, and Rachel's company replaced her laptop. The restraining order was extended after Jake sent a letter full of accusations and veiled threats. He still believes I used computer skills to ruin his life rather than accepting his actions had consequences. The letter went straight to my lawyer as evidence. Lisa's social media attacks have decreased after her parents apparently threatened to stop helping with rent if she continued the public drama. Her accounts have been quiet lately, which is a relief. Therapy continues to help me process my grief. My therapist pointed out that I'm mourning the idea of a supportive family I never actually had, a painful but accurate observation. I'm learning that while I can't change my birth family, I can build my chosen family intentionally. Rachel's parents remain incredibly supportive. Her dad helped me set up a small woodworking workshop in our garage. Creating tangible objects has been therapeutic after days spent in the digital world. The coffee table I made last month isn't perfect, but Rachel loves it. I've reconnected with a college friend who experienced similar identity theft by his sister. Talking with someone who understands this specific betrayal has been helpful. He's in a good place 5 years later, which gives me hope. For those who suggested I should forgive Jake and Lisa because family is family, I've reflected on this deeply. Forgiveness isn't an obligation, especially without acknowledgement of wrongdoing. What they did wasn't a misunderstanding but calculated, sustained deception and theft from someone who had repeatedly helped them. The question isn't whether I can forgive them, but whether I can build a meaningful life despite what they did. And the answer, I'm discovering, is yes. Thank you all for your continued support during this rebuilding phase of my life. Update 3, it's been 4 months since my last update, and this will likely be my final post on this situation. I'll address the most common question in my messages. No, I haven't forgiven Jake and Lisa, nor do I plan to anytime soon. To those suggesting blood is thicker than water and that I should reconcile because they're family, would you forgive someone who stole $90,000 from you, took out fraudulent loans in your name, and tried to destroy your reputation when caught, just because you share DNA? Family should be held to a higher standard, not a lower one. There have been developments with Tommy. I attended his coding competition last month. Jake and Lisa chose not to attend. According to his teacher, they rarely come to his school events. Tommy's project was impressive, a game teaching basic financial literacy. After the competition, we talked briefly. He seemed caught between excitement about seeing me and anxiety about his parents finding out. He practices coding in secret now because Jake calls it useless computer nonsense. Despite this discouragement, he won first place in the district competition and is headed to state finals. I sent him a congratulatory card with an Amazon gift card, small enough that his parents hopefully won't question it. The house situation is finalized. I offered the young family a rent-to-own agreement, which they've signed. In 5 years, the house will be theirs. The husband started his own electrical business and is doing well. They sent me a video of their youngest taking her first steps in the backyard garden they've created. Seeing that little girl walking in the yard where Jake and I once played feels like the most fitting resolution. Mom's condition has fluctuated. She spent a week in the hospital after what her doctor called a breakdown. When I visited, she admitted for the first time that she knew what Jake and Lisa were doing with Dad's accounts but felt powerless to stop it. Jake has always been able to talk me into anything, she said. Not exactly an apology, but the closest to accountability I've heard from my family. Our wedding was perfect, small lakeside ceremony as planned. Mom came alone and behaved herself. Surprisingly, she thanked Rachel's parents for being there for her son when she couldn't be. We honeymooned in Maine, staying at a coastal cottage. For 10 days, we didn't once discuss family drama. Rachel revealed she'd stopped taking birth control 2 months ago. We're cautiously optimistic about starting a family. Financially, things improve slowly. Jake's wage garnishment continues, though the amount is small compared to what was taken. Lisa got a part-time job at a convenience store but quit after 3 weeks, claiming customer service was beneath her. Lisa's parents contacted me wanting to know exactly what happened. I showed them the documentation, and they seemed genuinely shocked by the extent of the fraud. 3 days later, Lisa called screaming that I had turned her parents against her and they were cutting off financial support. I reminded her of the restraining order and hung up. She immediately sent a barrage of texts, which I forwarded to my lawyer. The court has scheduled a hearing to address these violations. Jake has maintained physical distance but tells people I hacked his accounts and framed him. He's convinced my tech job gives me magical powers to manipulate financial records. Some people actually believe him. Rachel and I bought a house, a modest 3-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood far from my past. I built our dining table myself. Rachel has claimed the smallest bedroom as her art studio. Work continues to be positive. My team's security protocol was implemented company-wide, and I've been offered a leadership position on a new project. My relationship with Rachel's family has deepened. Her parents celebrated their 35th anniversary recently, and seeing their respectful partnership has been a revelation. Her father has become the dad I wish I'd had, supportive without being controlling. We go fishing monthly, and those quiet mornings have become sacred time. Therapy continues, though less frequently. My therapist suggested I write letters to Jake, Lisa, and my parents, not to send, but to articulate my feelings. Beneath the anger, what I feel most is sadness for what could have been, for relationships destroyed by jealousy. Rachel and I are focusing on building our life rather than repairing what's broken beyond fixing. I've learned that family isn't defined by genetics but by love, respect, and mutual support. By that definition, I've found my real family. One unexpected positive: my story has apparently helped others. I've received dozens of messages from people dealing with similar family betrayals. Many felt trapped by but their family, a guilt trip until reading about my experience. Several have taken steps to protect themselves financially or set boundaries they previously thought impossible. If sharing my pain helped even one person avoid a similar situation, then something good came from this mess. If there's one lesson from all this, it's that no amount of money is worth sacrificing your integrity. Jake and Lisa gained temporary financial advantage but lost their dignity, credibility, and stability. I lost money but retained my self-respect and found clarity about who truly belongs in my life. Thank you all for following this journey. While this chapter isn't one I would have chosen, I'm at peace with how it's resolved. Sometimes the family you choose is more valuable than the one you're born into.